Welcome inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I'm Booker T, six-time world champ, two-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. They call him the boat. We're getting ready to take a fantastic voyage over this next hour, guys. So I'm glad you're here with us, man. It's stormy. It's stormy out there in those seas, man. So we gotta find our way to calm waters. Yeah, Bradley, how you doing, doc?
I'm fine. Like, I'm okay. But, right before we started, some stuff, came across the ticker that, made me less than enthused to have to engage you in conversation.
What's that, man? What are you talking about?
You haven't seen?
In Canada. What are you talking about?
Talking about? What am I talking about? Well, on this show for what? It's been at least however long on this show and then the old other show, we've been talking about this one man for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And
what man is that?
This man is James Harden, right? And you've been critical,
very critical,
as a leader, right?
Yeah.
You're not a big fan of his style of play,
not at all.
And then then we traded CP3 off, we got Russ, and it didn't work out for us this season, right? Second round, Lakers beat us, and it seems like whoever beats us always ends up going and winning the championship, but that's neither here nor there. But right before we go on, I saw this blurb from Kendrick Perkins, former Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah.
He's in the league. Everyone knows Kendrick. He's on ESPN a lot. And
very vocally. Normally when he's talking about something, man, it's the truth.
Well, and his time in Oklahoma City, he bonded very closely to two people, James Harden and Russell Westbrook. And then this is what he was saying today. He was saying that Kendrick Perkins says that James Harden and Russell Westbrook are not happy with the direction of the Rockets organization. He actually went on to say that James Harden is straight up not even answering the phone when Tillman Fertitta or any of the Rockets leadership calls. He said, I'm not even looking at that. It's not even my concern right now. They were a little upset by the coaching hire. They wanted Ty Lue. They were upset Daryl Morey left. They didn't have a say in the new GM. So it's rocky times in H-Town, Book. And now the rumor is that James and Russ, the Knicks and Clippers are looking at Russ. Apparently, this was just something I heard, the Nets might be looking at James Harden, which would be James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. I don't know. It's shaky times ahead.
What you want me to say, man? What do you want me to say? I told you so. Is that what you want me to say? I told you so. Because I'm going to tell you, man, let's look at it this way. I said it from the beginning of this marriage being made, with Harden and Westbrook, that I didn't think it was going to work out just because there, again, no leadership. I don't think James Harden is the greatest leader, and I don't think Russell Westbrook is the greatest leader as well. You got, oil and water that mixing up. Those guys go out there, they can get on a streak every now and then, and do something. But over the long haul, I said that this would not be a winning combination. This would not be the team that was going to take the Rockets to, championship glory. Just because, man, just the two styles, for me, they clash. And when we got rid of CP3, that was some leadership, man, that went out the door. That was the guy that could have rallied the troops, even if he was injured, even if he wasn't the guy that could have, went out there and did the bulk of the load as far as, pulling the team. He still could have been the like I always say, you have guys, in the driver's seat, and you want a great navigator in order to get to you. If you could drive good and you ain't got a good navigator, take 20 hours, you know what I mean? If you don't have the right navigator, you know what I mean? So Houston, the problem is no navigation. We don't have a moral compass as far as, which way this team should be going. So I think that's where it all lies.
Yeah. It's almost because we had a similar story come out in another Houston sports franchise earlier this week. JJ Watt was kind of talking about maybe wanting to be moved and traded somewhere else.
Send him on. I mean, JJ Watt been around this city for a long time, man. He's not going to get a ring here. He's not going to get a ring here. Send him out to pasture, man. I mean, JJ Watt is
trade into a contender. Don't send him out to pasture.
What I'm saying is, J.J. Watt is bruised, battered, and torn. You better send him to a team that's got a chance. Otherwise, he's just going to get beat up even more. This guy got a lot of miles on the tires, and I like J.J. Watt. He's done a hell of a lot for this city. I'm talking about off the field. Mm-hmm. He's done a lot for this city, and I appreciate him for that. But J.J. Watt, just like a lot of the other players, that have left this city, the reason they left was, man, I can't take it no more. I want a shot at a ring. And right now, Houston is not playing nowhere near the rim as far as basketball, as well as nowhere near the end zone as far as football. So my thing is this, man. We like a salmon. You know what I mean? We swimming upstream.
Well, I mean, hopefully we can keep things locked in the Astros side of things. But the one Houston sports franchise you never have to worry about is the Reality of Wrestling, going down this Saturday. Drive-in show November the 14th from the parking lot of the World Gym Arena. You can come up, listen to Booker T and I call the commentary over the radio. And also, who knows what's going to happen as far as some of these championship matches might go. Because last time, I think, can we talk a little spoilers?
Yeah, go right ahead.
What happened at Swingboat? We did crown a new reality wrestling champion in Abel Andrew Jackson, somebody who has been around as long as I've been there. He's been there, and even longer than that. He was there. He was one of the first. He was the first student, wasn't he? He
was among the first crop students that came through reality of wrestling, and he's been a staple since day one. And he's grown from being a private first class to now being, a 4-star general. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, he's been around since day one, and he's done a hell of a job being, a leader. We were just talking about leadership as far as the Rockets go. He's been a hell of a leader for those young guys that's been coming in there, knowing that, hey, man, I've had a hell of a run here, but to pass the torch, to these young guys that's coming in, I think that's very important.
I think it is too. So if you want to support your local reality of wrestling, definitely come out this Saturday. Drive-in show November 14th. Go to realitywrestling.com for all the information, tickets, and all that good stuff. Get there early if you want a good spot, though. You got to get there early. Support local.
No, as well as make sure, guys, you check me out on my online class as well, man. On Thursday night, 7 o'clock, we're going to be definitely, talking about the art of professional wrestling, giving you guys the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts of what it really means to be in the business. And on Thursday, right now I got about 20 guys lined up for the class. So guys, make sure, and it's all independent, man. It's all local. And speaking of local, guys, as a local based business, Gow Media believes in the concept of supporting local businesses, jobs, and our community guys. So we're asking you, our listeners, to hashtag keep it local when you're out there shopping, eating, taking out, or just buying service. Consider your local business and share your great experiences with the hashtag keep it local. Listen for our supporters, guys, our sponsors, and support ESPN 97.5 as well as 92.5. Then hashtag keep it local. Guys, if you want to learn more, just go to ESPN975.com/keep it local. Hey, guys, we got to take a break. Stick around. We'll be back in a momento. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, and this is for all up-and-coming professional wrestlers, male and female. You want to know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. You got a question, I got the answer. If you want to know how, join my masterclass. Go to realityofwrestling.com for all the information, starting on Thursday and every Thursday after that, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. And I know you can dig that.
The Academy.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Shoop! We back again, man. Yeah, man. A lot been going on in the world. Before we even get started, a couple of my students went to do a tryout with WWE. I just want to say, man, I hope they did well. I hope they passed the test. Because one thing about what we talk about in reality of wrestling, more importantly than anything, is everything is a test. No matter what it is you think they're presenting in front of you, look at it as a test and a test only. So I tell my guys, when they finally get a chance to, bridge over to the other side, and perhaps get a tryout with one of these companies like a WWE, like a AEW or TNA, I say, guys, they're going to tell you maybe to do this and do that. And they may want you to do it their way, but just know you got your trick bag that you can always go to. It's always going to be ready and available. So that right there is what's going to enable you to pass each and every one of those tests. So there again, hopefully my guys, my girls, went out there and represented a reality of wrestling like I know they can.
Yeah, absolutely. We got some of the best talent, and obviously we got one of the best trainers of all time. A guy who's been there, done that, won all the titles, main event of WrestleMania. I want to shout out, though, real quick, everybody listening in the chat. Ace Boogie. Who else we got in here? Kid 2 Duh. I don't know how do you say the last name. Kenneth Bonaparte's in here. Brian Watts. Donald Welliver. Stuart Foster. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Just want to give them
I like Ace Boogie Boom. What I like. That's a good name right there. That's a wrestling name for you right there.
And then Jared011 Green said, good show. Keep up the good work. Booker T, #5X. So appreciate that super chat, my man.
Man, we're just doing it. Actually, we got so much going on right now. I'm just trying to keep my head on a swivel and trying to stay on track with everything that we got going on down here. Like you say, the show this weekend is going to be something special. But there again, WWE, we got another big pay-per-view coming up. AEW talking about they getting ready to change the world. Let's talk about that. Let's go ahead and talk about it.
Tony Khan tweeted that tonight's AEW Dynamite, we're doing this a couple hours before Dynamite if you're just hearing this. He says that it's going to shift the balance of power in the wrestling world. And if you read into those comments, what that would mean to me is they're going to have some major announcement that they think would put them in that #1 spot. Now,
a major player.
Right, or have a major player. You're right, absolutely. And I don't know who would be out there for them to grab at this point, but there's always somebody, right? But I don't know if there's anything right now, and this isn't me. I don't want anyone thinking that I'm hating on AEW because I'm a fan. I'm a fan of AEW and what they're doing. But I don't know if there's anybody right now who could shift the balance of power. I don't know if there's anything they could do at this moment in time to shift the balance of power.
Wait a minute.
WWE is Coca-Cola. You know what I'm saying?
You don't think Brock Lesnar could shift the balance of power, if not just for a short amount of time?
I didn't think about that. That's a really good thought. Brock coming in, if Brock were to come in just for a moment, and then who else is a free agent? They just said Sting. We've talked about Sting, right? If they have some surprises tonight where, we think the big surprise is going to be Sting. Sting's now, the figurehead of or something. I don't know. He has got a role in the show. And then Brock Lesnar comes out F5 Sting in the middle of the ring. I'll be hype. I don't know if that's going to happen.
I'm just saying. We're just hypothetically speaking right now. But you said it's nothing that they could do to shift the balance of power. And I believe that, someone like Brock coming in, that's like a atom bomb dropping. Everything going to be, just left bearing, after it's all over with. And that's why I see Brock Lesnar, if he was to make a, because, we don't know what Brock's doing right now. We just don't know. We don't know if, he's thinking UFC. We don't know if he's thinking, making a run coming. We know he got a different look. He's got the little beard going now. He looks like
whoa! Don't say little beard. Don't disrespect Brock now. You don't want that smoke, Buck. I know y'all used to like back in the day.
It is
why'd you have to belittle his beard like that?
No, what I'm saying, he's got a little more hair on his chin, on his face now. That's what I'm saying.
Be careful. I'm looking out for you.
I'm not worried about Brock Lesnar myself, but this is my thing here. He's got a different look to make a different switch and switch over. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but you said the balance of power. Brock Lesnar is just one name out there that could actually, do something like that. I don't know what Goldberg's situation is right now, but Goldberg
He's still signed to WWE.
we think, we're not actually sure about what's going on with people's contracts and whatnot. But I think it's a few guys, it's a couple of guys out there that could make a huge difference and make some waves and more importantly, make news, because that's what Tony Khan is looking for. Tony Khan is looking for headlines and trying to make people, click and say, man, this is something. What is this? This is something new I didn't know all about. Man, they got Brock. Wow. That's what they're looking for. So a name like a Brock Lesnar could shift the powers about.
They have had some, MMA guys on the show before, right? I mean, maybe Henry Cejudo is going to come over there. Maybe Rashad Evans. Maybe they're going to be a tag team. They're going to take on the Young Bucks. I don't know. Maybe DC. He's been flirting with WWE.
But the thing is, like I say, shifting the balance of power, man. Who's the last? What was the last biggest name on AEW? What was the last big name?
Like to come over?
Yeah, just to come, just to be a part of it. Show up.
Mike Tyson.
And who got a fight coming up at the end of the month?
Mike Tyson.
Who would be better to promote that fight than
Mike Tyson?
The shifting of the balance. See what I'm saying? It's a whole lot out there, man. You're looking in the wrong places. You know what I mean? As a promoter, I'm thinking about certain things that's happening right now that's going to, maximize the potential of us making certain amounts of monies. You know what I mean? So my thing is, man, it's you're missing a big picture here.
I mean, you make a good point. I mean, Mike has that fight coming up against Roy Jones, which I'm sure we're going to talk about a little bit more here in a second, because he had some comments actually that he made to a friend of the show, Peter Rosenberg, over there on ESPN in New York, that we'll talk about in a minute. But here's the thing: if they could promote. But see, that wouldn't be smart. Mike can't do a match before his fight, right?
He doesn't necessarily have to do a match. Roy Jones Jr. could show up too.
Oh, Tyson's doing a promo with a Roy Jones run-in? Hit him with a RKO.
No, we don't have to have any physicality or anything like that. But Roy Jones is there as well, man.
I would love that.
We're promoting this big fight that's getting ready to come off, at the end of the month. You know what I mean? So, like I say, bro, I'm looking at this thing from a promoter standpoint only. And for me, if I'm Tony Khan, that's the way, that's the direction, one should be thinking more than anything, because it's not about, just the wrestling match. At the end of the day, and I say that using MJF as an example, a guy who doesn't work a whole lot, but we know about him. We know about him perhaps more than anybody in the company outside of Chris Jericho.
Right.
Or as when we think about stars, so you don't necessarily have to get in the ring to actually draw some attention. Put eyes on the situation, and to have someone, like I say, to even hint. Tease that is a Brock Lesnar, or even the hint or tease, a leak that Roy Jones Jr. and Mayweather and Mike Tyson and Mayweather gonna be on the show tonight. You know what I mean? So you got to know how to manipulate the numbers, man. You got to be able to skew the situation sometimes, and sometimes it's done a little underhanded. No offense to anyone.
What about a Conor McGregor?
There again,
he moved the numbers.
Conor McGregor looking to get back in right now. So definitely, man. I mean, it's a lot of avenues out there for some stuff to be, made out of it.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I do also want to shout out AEW, because they just announced they're having their own video game coming out. AEW Games was announced, I believe, yesterday. So they're making moves over there. And apparently they got a second show coming out on TNT next year, 2021. So AEW looks like they're gonna. I did initially think, I don't know if a lot of people did, but I thought, well, I don't know what this is gonna be like, but they look like they're in it for the long haul, man. And the Khan family, they got some long green.
Hey, man, I always said it's always room for another wrestling company. It had to be someone with some long pockets, deep pockets, as far as being able to really, really, pull something off like that. Because I say the first 5 years is going to be, trial and error. Getting past that first 5 years, if they could do that, man, they definitely could go on a run and create something very, very special. And the thing is, they created something very special already. Who thought that they could, pull this off? Who would have thought, there'd be another wrestling company, another major wrestling company competing, with WWE in 2020? Who'd have thought that? After WCW went away, and I was there, I watched it dissolve. After seeing that, I truly didn't think it was going to be another wrestling company, especially after seeing TNA, Impact Wrestling, try to make a run, and they had a lot of good guys there to actually get it done, and didn't. So this is big, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all.
I'm sure there's some people driving down 45 South, North, 610 or I-10. They hear you yelling "Shup" late at night, and they're they're jerking around and swerving. That's a frightening thing when I'm not ready for it.
I saw you jump that time.
I was like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that. Hey, real quick, before we get into the next thing, because I want to talk about Tyson, but somebody had a comment here in the chat. By the way, shout out to the chat. And if you're watching right now live, shout out where you're watching from. Put your city, state, country. We want to know where people are watching us all around the world. But JD Varnell said, did Booker and Sharmell wish one day they would have been contestants on Jeopardy? Rest in peace, Alex Trebek. Thank you, Booker. I know y'all were on Family Feud, right? You and Sharmell. Yeah. You never did Jeopardy, right?
Nah, man. I never wished to be on Jeopardy. That's a pretty hard game, man.
That's a really difficult game.
Not the easiest game. I mean, you got to be one of those people that just sit around with a lot of useless information, that you're just waiting to use. And Jeopardy is a perfect game for that. I mean, it's an awesome concept. I love it. And the people that get on there and do well, you are amazed, with how smart they are and how quick they are at the same time. You know what I mean? So my thing is, but God rest his soul, man. The guy did it from the beginning all the way. Nobody came in, you know what I mean, throughout his tenure. You know what I mean? He had job security forever. You know what I mean? And that right there, man, is very, very unique to actually be able to pull that off the way he did for so many years and to do it as well as he did. So, hey, man, that just being on top of your game. And the one thing about Alex Trebek, man, it seemed like he was just one of those guys that just wanted to, stay relevant. He wasn't worried about being the center of attention of the show or anything like that. He just wanted to make sure everybody else around him got a piece of the action. And see, that's the kind of guy it seemed like he was, you know what I mean? So God rest his soul, man, definitely.
100%, man. Alex Trebek, absolute legend, man. Absolute legend. I think he's probably the greatest game show host ever, right?
Definitely. Well, you got Bob Barker, man. You can't sleep on Bob Barker, man. Bob was the man, and the other guy back in the day on what was that show? And where he used to kiss all the ladies. Back in the day when you could get away with that kind of stuff. But I tell you, man, I love game shows. I love game shows. Actually, you was talking about Family Feud. I was actually pretty good on there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Family Feud is one that where you're supposed to just kind of be able to do like it should be common knowledge, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, something
And
that
John O'Hurley was the host when you did it, right?
yeah, something that you should know, or then again, not that you should know it, but you should have a inclination of, if we're talking about men, you know what I mean, what this topic is or how to get there. It's one of those type of deals. But then again, vice versa, it might be a subject about women. Then you got to figure it out, So it definitely one of those touch and go situations. Yeah.
The best. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but sometimes I'll go look at some of the funny answers from shows like that. And Steve Harvey, I think, is probably one of the best hosts for that show, maybe ever. He might be the best Family Feud host ever. And they had this category. I don't know if I may have shown it to you before, but they had the category of like name a word that typically follows the word pork, right? And so people are like pork chop, pork ribs, pork whatever, right? And they were going through it, and they got to my guy, and they're like, okay, Steve Harvey says, name something that follows the word pork. And this guy said, cupine. Pork cupine. I said, that's creative, but that is super wrong. He said cupine.
Oh my God, man. That's what's crazy. That show, you find yourself in a position to where anything might come out. You just don't know. You just, you can have a brain freeze as well. You know what I mean? And it's not fun. It's definitely not fun. Watching it on television, you say, man, this looks pretty cool. But putting yourself in that position is the most nerve-wracking thing for me. Actually, I've ever, like I say, I did pretty good on Family Feud, but trust me, the answers that came out, a lot of it was just luck. You know what I mean?
But see, I've always liked those shows more, the ones that are more common knowledge. Like even Millionaire's a little bit more common knowledge. Wheel of Fortune, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Those kind of shows are the ones I like to watch.
That's a pretty hard one too.
Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is hard.
That's a pretty hard show, man. I sit there and I watch that show and I go, man, my kids, they'll do really good.
Because they're learning it now.
Exactly.
That's the thing. They're learning it right now.
Yeah.
As opposed to however many years ago. And the thing is, and what was you did Weakest Link too, right?
Yeah. I went off of that quick, man.
Did you do Millionaire? Or are those the only two game shows you did?
Millionaire, yeah, not that one. Yeah.
Okay. So you only did those two.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of my greatest moments. But that's just the way it is, man. You put yourself out there. More importantly, to have some fun. But sometimes, man, it turns out to be something that you say, man, why did I do this, man? I mean, this was not a good idea.
I should not have agreed to this.
It's one of those. And the thing is, when you're working for the company, sometimes you just don't know. You get a phone call or email or something. It's cool. You know what I mean? Then you get there, you go, hell, how did I end up in this here? It's just like this thing I'm doing right now. I thought it was, built around one thing, with the WWE Lost Treasures thing. And then next thing you know, I'm doing this. Next thing you know, I'm doing this. And then I go, wait a minute. I didn't sign up for this. we need to renegotiate. You know what I'm saying? I think y'all got me on this one. So it's one of those things. Man. Make sure you look at the small print.
The fine print is always necessary. But let's talk about Mike real quick. Mike Tyson. He was talking to Peter Rosenberg of ESPN Radio. Of course, we're big fans of Peter on this show.
Good friend of mine.
Yeah, great guy. And Mike Tyson said the following. When Peter asked him what does he think about his upcoming exhibition, Mike Tyson said this. He said, well, first of all, I wanted to fight an exhibition for 4 rounds. Then next thing I know, I'm fighting Roy Jones Jr. Then next thing I know, it's 8 rounds. Then there's a belt on the line and there are 3 judges. Does that sound like an exhibition match to you? First, let's talk about that. It's not an exhibition, is it? This is a full-on fight. They can call it an exhibition for charity, but this is a full-on fight, right?
I mean, it appears to be. I mean, Mike Tyson, I don't see Mike Tyson being a charity type guy. Okay.
Not saying that he's a bad guy, but he's not just going to go out there and just put on a show.
Exactly. I mean, he's got boxing gloves on. He's a guy that's, probably got a little PTSD, flashbacks. When he get in the ring, when the bell ring, I think the old Mike Tyson is just going to come out. I don't think it's anything that, he could help or anything like that. I don't think it's, he's going to be going out there thinking, that, this is where it's going to be. But I think just having that mentality, being Mike Tyson, when the bell rang, it has always been one thing, man: seek and destroy. Take out the man across, the ring from you. Go out there and beat your opponent down. That's what Mike Tyson has always been about. Now, exhibition match. I don't know who he thought he was going to be fighting. I maybe thought he was just going to get a Joe, and he was just going to go out there and, roll around a little bit, punch here, punch there, get the guy out of there, whatnot. But then Roy Jones' name get thrown into play. I'm sure he knew Roy Jones' name was, I'm sure he knew Roy was the guy. I'm sure that wasn't a surprise or anything like that. Now, being 8 rounds and then adding the 3 judges, Roy Jones Jr., 8 rounds, 3 judges. To me, that looks like not an exhibition, but an 8-round fight between 2 professional fighters. These guys aren't amateurs or anything like that. 2 professional fighters going out there and fighting 8 rounds. Yeah, I see the same thing Mike sees. This is a fight, and when you're in the ring fighting, I don't think you can go out there and play fight.
No.
Okay, I don't think you can go out there and literally, a little jab here, a little right hand here, a little play jab. You can't do that. So I see this be a real contest, and I see Roy Jones. Like I say, perhaps I hate to say it, man, but I really think Roy Jones could get. I don't know what Mike Tyson is in his life at right now as far as fighting goes. What does he still have left in the tank? But I have seen Roy Jones fight as of late. I'm talking about as of, a couple of years ago, maybe even, sooner than that. But he was fighting a guy that was nowhere near the caliber of Mike Tyson. Right. Mike Tyson has forgotten more than the fighter that, he was fighting, knows at this point, seriously.
Right.
So I think it's one of those things where Roy Jones could really get hurt in this match, man. And I hope that don't happen. I really do, man. I hope that don't happen. But it's a fight, man. And Roy Jones Jr. knows the ramifications, as well as Mike Tyson knows exactly what this thing is about. And then I told you, Mike Tyson is looking to, perhaps go out here and try to recreate history and feel like, man, I think I may have one last run left in the tank. You're looking at guys out there like Deontay Wilder, man, I think I can get him. You're looking at guys like Anthony Joshua, you say, man, I think I can knock that guy out. You're thinking about guys like Tyson Fury, you say, man, if I can get inside, man.
Tyson versus Tyson.
Exactly. That's the reason Fury's name is Tyson as well. Get in there, hit some of these short left hooks, some of the hook uppercut. Let me see if I can get that to work. Anything might happen. Guys, stick around. Welcome back, guys. Yeah, man, I'm just sitting here looking at some stuff here on the internet, and I see that it may happen in January. They're talking about January 23rd or something like that. Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. And me personally, man, I would love to see McGregor Poirier too. It would be a great fight. They're talking about UFC 257. I would love to see that. I would love to see, because my thing is this. I really, I want to know what Conor McGregor still have left in the tank more than anything. I want to know if Conor McGregor is just, still talking a good game, or if he still got the juice, if he still got what it takes to come out and perform at a very, very high level. Me personally, I wonder. Conor is not an old guy. He's not a guy that's, you can say, well, man, he's past his prime or anything like that. And then again, you can say that. You can say that from two different perspectives. For me, one perspective is he hasn't passed his prime at 32. He has passed his prime at 32, because, man, when you make that kind of money, it's easy to get soft. It's easy to not have that drive, that motivation to want to go out there and fight like you once did. I mean, when you look here, when you hungry, when you starving, we talked about guys like Francis Ngannou being over in the bush, going on that run and say, man, I gotta get up out of here, man. I gotta get some food on the table. I gotta be able to support my family. It's a whole lot different, man, when you ain't, sleeping on silk sheets. We've talked about that. Conor McGregor right now, he's riding around the Bentley. All right. He's got a nice big house. I mean, what is left for him to actually go out there and train for, other than, still wanting to be the guy, having that moniker, the baddest man on the planet, for Mike Tyson back in the day, we was talking about Mike, that meant something. And for Conor McGregor, he walks around now promoting proper 12.
Proper 12.
It's not, I don't even think we look at Conor McGregor the same way we did once upon a time, just because his fighting stints have been so sporadic.
They've been occasional.
Exactly.
He's an occasional fighter.
Exactly. So he's a part-time fighter, a part-time businessman. He's made a lot of money throughout his career, but is Conor McGregor past his time? I wouldn't say past his prime, but past his time. I think so.
Is he past his prime?
No, not past his prime.
Oh, you said past his time. If you say past his time, I mean, maybe, just in the fact of he's been so infrequent for the last couple of years. What he's had since 2016, he's had 4 fights, right?
Yeah,
and that includes Mayweather, right?
Yeah,
he had Cowboy, Khabib, Mayweather, and Alvarez. Those are the only fights he's had in the last 4 years, 5 years. That's not very active, So I think as it passed his time, yeah, it could be. Conor McGregor doesn't, even though he is a big deal, he doesn't seem as big of a deal anymore.
It seemed like.
I mean, you remember like the hype behind Conor McGregor during that first run, especially when he beat Aldo in 14 seconds or whatever it was, 17 seconds. There was no bigger star on the planet for a second in the world of sports, right? That's the only reason that wave. And you know what? You know what though? You know what killed his career? Not his career. I don't want to say that. You know what killed his aura? The aura of Conor McGregor was not the Khabib loss. It was the Mayweather fight. The Mayweather fight is what killed the aura of Conor McGregor. Because up until that point, you really had people going into that fight thinking, this man's going to do it. He's going to beat Floyd Mayweather. And then he went out there and he went out on his feet in the 10th round. Sure, the boxing, the people who are knowledgeable about the sport say, well, he lasted 10 rounds and one of the greatest of all time, right? Yeah, sure.
Oh, was it 10 rounds or was it 8? I think it was 8.
Was it 8?
9 rounds.
9 rounds. Nevertheless, he went 9 rounds, one of the best in the world, right? That gives you something. But to the layman, they see it as what? A loss. And that was Conor's first loss that didn't seem avengable. The one that against Nate Diaz, it seemed like that was his Jordan Detroit Pistons moment, right? Can he come back from the loss? And then he goes out and does it. The Mayweather coupled with the Khabib loss really is where that shine was off the new car.
Man, I disagree with you, man. I think the shine came off after the Khabib fight. I think the fight with Mayweather was such an anomaly to where win or lose in a fight like that. he won because he did. I don't think he lost any support from the MMA world. But I think after going out there with Khabib, after talking all of that crap, the build up, talking about his dad, talking about his religion, everything that he did, really set him up for failure if he lost that fight. And then he went out there and he got choked out in grand fashion, relatively easy against the best fighter in the world, Khabib Nurmagomedov. And I think that's what an air went out of the sails of Conor McGregor. I don't think the Mayweather fight really had a whole lot, a way into that, just because, win or lose, you walk out $100 million richer, you win. And then you got to come back and, defend, your territory, your turf, which is what you call rightfully yours, which is the octagon. No one should be better than you inside the octagon. And then he go out there and get, ousted by Nurmagomedov, like I say, relatively easy. I think that took all the steam out of Conor McGregor, and then coming back fighting a guy like Cerrone. What is Cerrone going to do? I mean, come on. And did he even want to go? He even wanted to go lower than that.
Fight Sanchez.
Yeah,
but here's this is where your logic is inconsistent. And I'm gonna stand up. Hold on. I'm gonna stand up for Conor just for a moment, because you always talk, when you talk about the boxers, you always say we got to protect these guys. We can't go number one guy every single time. You can't go with the top guy every single time. Throw them a couple guys who are in the top 10. Build their confidence up, build up the resume, get some money out of this guy. And then, though, with that same logic, you go completely opposite with Conor. Why is he fighting somebody who's not?
Wait a minute. Let me retort. If you recall, when Conor McGregor came back, I said that he shouldn't have fought Nurmagomedov. I
remember.
I said he should have taken a couple of tune-up fights.
That I remember. Okay.
So what are you talking about here?
But now you're criticizing him for taking tune-up fights.
No. I said he should have did that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have, blamed, Conor McGregor, but Conor McGregor, he came back and asked for Nurmagomedov. He's the one who wanted that.
No, I know. But you're criticizing him for then coming back and saying, "Give me some tune-up fights."
No. I wouldn't have criticized him at all for coming back and saying that then. I'm talking about right now.
So what's the difference?
It's a huge difference. It's because he wanted to come back and lay, down, like this is my turf. This is my yard, and I'm back to take it from the best fighter in the world, Khabib Nurmagomedov, after going over here playing boxer for a little while. It just doesn't work that way. After being off as long as he was, I thought he should have came back and took a Don Cerrone when he first came back, or took a Diego Sanchez, when he first came back before he fought Nurmagomedov. Now, that was his mistake. For me, personally, I would have wanted to see Conor McGregor come back and work his way back to that position. That was his fault. So you can't blame me for something like that.
Well, real quick, we called him an occasional fighter, and I want to invite everybody listening right now to the Occasional Invitational. Take the day off and play a round of golf with your favorite sports station at the ESPN 97.5 and 92.5 Occasional Invitational, presented by SiteJab.com, benefiting Provision. This year's tournament will take place Thursday, December 3rd at 11:30 a.m. at the Wildcat Golf Club. Each golfer will receive beverages from our local beer provider, St. Arnold's Brewery, lunch, dinner, and 18 holes of golf. You can register right now at ESPN975.com. That's ESPN975.com.
Oh,
you're ready to bring out that hammer. Is what you're doing.
I left the hammer. I ain't working with the hammer no more, man. I put it up again. It's went off on me again. But nothing I can do about it.
But real quick, do you think that Conor McGregor beats Dustin Poirier?
I don't.
You think he loses?
I think Dustin Poirier has finally got to a place where he's comfortable. And I'm not going to look at Dustin Poirier's last fight or anything like that, because everybody that find themselves in that situation, the same thing happens.
Are you talking about the Khabib fight?
Exactly.
He just fought who? He just fought, was it Hermanson? No. Who did he just fight? Dustin Poirier just fought a second ago.
Poirier. Who did he fight?
I want to say it was Hermanson, but I think that's wrong.
It wasn't Hermanson. I know.
He fought Here, I'll tell you right now. Oh, Dan Hooker.
Dan Hooker. And I'll tell you right now, Dan Hooker, any day of the week versus Conor McGregor, I'm taking Dan Hooker, man. I'm serious. I'm serious, man. That dude, Dan Hooker.
He's a bad dude.
Dan Hooker is no joke. He is the real deal. He's young. He's hungry. He's a guy that wanted more than anybody. And for Dustin Poirier to go out there and pull it off, it wasn't an easy fight at all. And pull that fight off, and knowing that he won, that said a whole lot about that young man. And that's why I give him the nod over Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is going to get beat. And like I told you, it's going to be the last time we ever see Conor McGregor. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame.